Well, welcome, welcome, welcome to the Awakening Potential Show, your gateway to the extraordinary, where you get to hear how others have stepped up, stand out, and you'll get to choose to ignite the extraordinary inside of you because you are meant to be extraordinary. And today I'm so excited for this particular guest. We've connected many, many years ago, and we get to reconnect, and I'm really excited because I'm featuring Sonya LaRae, who has been master turning everyday moments into milestones of wisdom around image consult. She's an image consultant with her company, Paz Image Consultants. She's a lifestyle and relationships counselor, fashion psychologist, holistic. She's into holistic health. She's a wellness consultant and practitioner. And she started the Millionaires Mindset community, and I love it. And she named my cat. So can't beat that. Bentley it is. So join us as we delve into her transformative journey and glean insights to elevate our own lives. Let's embark on this enlightening journey together, and a warm welcome, Sonya LaRae. Welcome, welcome.
Well, good afternoon. It's so beautiful to be here with you.
It's a pleasure. Oh, I'm so excited. It's like, which way do we go? I don't know, because we have so many. I'm curious. Let's go this route for started. What got you started? I mean, behind the scenes, you were telling me you're also a singer, classically. Yeah. Oh God, I definitely have to put you in touch with Dr. Jody for sure. But what got you started in music first off? And was that your first love and passion, or?
Well, yes, because I actually come from a beautiful musical background. So my father was a very well-known Latin bassist, and so many people know his music from Watermelon Man to Oye Como Va, and his name was Victor Venegas, and he was a bassist, beautiful singer. My great grandmother was also a contralto. She was a singer. My mom was a soprano singer. And so, lo and behold, music has always been such an identity for me in my house growing up. And my mom found out that I could sing when I was around 4 years old. And she said I had such a nice melody in my voice. And it just kind of blossomed from there. And I'm a spinto coloratura. I sing 6.5 octaves comfortably, and it's just always been a passion of mine.
That is amazing. And I see I'm learning new things about you as well. I did not know that. I got the chills when you mentioned your dad because I have been a music fan forever and ever. I do not sing yet. I
It's
haven't been.
coming. It's
Oh,
coming.
there you go. Hey, I got my voice, so that's a start. I'll take that. It's always a start. So we got to start someplace. But it's interesting that you've gone from such a rich upbringing, right? And how did you transition then into therapist? I mean, or was it something that was combinable, or what
I was
trick?
always interested in human behavior. Even as a child, I was a person that could just sense and feel people. And my mother said it was always such a gift because I could see people. Even in the store, I was very young, and my mom said I walked up to this lady and I said to her, "You need a hug today." And she was like, "I do." And she said, I gave her a hug and said, "Now it's up to you to make it better." And my mom was just blown away by that. And I was always interested in behaviors, different things of that sort. And I always knew that I wanted to work with people in a deeper way. Music is a deep sense where you really get to tap into emotion. And so when you're kind of on an empath at that, music has a different kind of vibration and a setting in your heart. So for me, going into medicine as far as it goes with working with clients on a deeper end and their being cognitive of their behavior was just kind of like a no-brainer. And I really started that unbeknownst that I was going to be doing more of my music and going through school, but it was that balance between the two. And I think it even helped me as a person to even identify the type of music I wanted to bring forward, what I was even writing. And so it was a deeper sense. And so being able to go into this practice was like just beautiful.
Yeah, I
The
get that.
best symphony, I will almost say. It's like a best symphony.
I love that. I love that. I find the symphony right here in nature. I can go out in nature and just listen and hear it. I used to live on the river, and that was like my special magic spot. And I remember closing my eyes at night in the pitch dark. It was so pitch black out there. We had bears, and oh, I loved it. I loved it all. And I would hear this, what I would call the symphony at night, and it was the alligators croaking. And, just the night sounds, and it was just like, it would bring such peace and joy to my heart. And then during the day, I would go out with my coffee down to the dock, and I would listen to the birds singing, and I'm like, "The morning orchestra, this is great. Good morning, world." And, oh, I just so miss that because it just lit me up. And there's something about music for sure. So I'm curious, do you bring the music into your therapy sessions as well in any way, shape, or
Depending on who I'm working with, because a lot of times I work with a lot of artists as well. And sometimes there are certain sounds that need to be brought into a session as well. And especially when you're working with creatives, creatives don't realize that there's a deeper path in their sensing and in that mind. And so sometimes when you bring certain sounds into that session and they're working through a very heavy or hard obstacle, that sound bursts forth the idea of what needs to be talked about, what needs to be open to them. And so I'm a firm believer in doing that. And I even kind of bring in, I have a beautiful technique that I teach inside of my practice with all my clients. It's called the 4-4 method. And it really teaches them about a deeper sense of breathing, but allowing their mind to tap into a different area of what is actually hindering or maybe kind of weighing on them deeper.
nice, nice. Love that. Love that. So you went from singing to well, before that, because I think you shared with me that you were 18 when you started La Paz Image Consultants. So that's like a whole nother, route.
La Paz literally, like I said, I was 18 years old. I've always been huge with fashion. From a young age, my mother would laugh because she would buy clothes for me, but when I would come out with to wear that outfit, it would never look the same of what she purchased because I would have cut it up, sewed up, changed it up, maybe even dyed it. And she always would laugh because it was so uniquely myself. And so
Right.
in turn, I was always into fashion, and people would always come. And even her boss for one of their events came and asked my mom, "Do you think she would look at my dress and maybe change it?" And my mom was like, okay. And unbeknownst to me, the gown was very expensive. I cut the dress up, I changed it out, everything. And her boss was like, "It's gorgeous. I can't even believe this. She's just 15 and she did this." So it was always a passion. So when I got into school and I really was working towards the understanding more of the behaviors of people with fashion. Fashion psychology is not about dressing people and all. It's really addressing the behaviors behind your purchases, what you're wearing. People don't realize within 5 minutes of me meeting you, I can tell you so much about yourself that they're like, "Have you been watching me?" And I'm like, "No," but I can really tell you so many areas and different things. And then with being in that lifestyle and relationship counseling, I get to actually connect all those different dots for them. So in turn, helping them to understand the behavior behind it, understanding what the mood is and the direction is what I get to do. And I love it. So I feel like La Paz was my gift, but my best friend and my business partner, Nelson, he bought into my dream before I ever did. And if it wasn't for him nurturing La Paz as I was doing my music, I don't even know if we would be where we are today because he literally bought into it and he believed in it so deeply that we are able to say that we've been in business now for over 23 years.
That's awesome. That's amazing. That speaks volumes. It's so interesting because I've been such a nature girl for so long, and then I raised little kids, pretty much single mom my whole, mom career. And after divorce, it was like, okay, what am I doing? Where am I going? I have horses. So for me, it's like you dress like you're going to the gym all the time, kind of thing. And now it's like I'm up on stages and I'm like, oh, what do I wear? How does this look? What is this supposed to look like? And I wing it. But boy, I didn't even think that there was a whole psychology behind it. And as you're speaking it, yeah, I'm seeing that now. I'm
Yes.
learning. I'm open and receptive, but it's it's not something I've ever thought about. And to make a career of it, I just absolutely love that. And I know you to be very intuitive anyway, as well as empathetic. So I can see where that would be like, oh wow, a win for somebody working with you for sure. That's
I,
awesome.
I like to tell people too is that as you were saying that, you're into horses, but literally, Karen, your style, it comes off organic. And so in turn, that connection is what births awakening potential.
Yeah.
So literally, when I met you, I felt that energy. I knew that about you, that you were someone who was open and free spirited, had a direction of a pathway that is more of grounding. And so a lot of times people don't even realize that the energy that their clothes is giving off, sometimes it doesn't even connect with them. And so that's why when they work with me, they really get to tap into their signature style. So it's a deeper essence of who they are. Sometimes people say, I didn't realize this was who I was until I started working with you. I knew
Mhm.
there was somebody different inside, but I just didn't know how to tap into it. And
Yeah.
that's what is so exciting to me. Every
Yeah.
time I get to do it, it's like, oh, this is so exciting.
That's one of those things. I was one of those people that's a true story. I was one of those people that, had to grow up really fast. My parents were divorced as well, and my mom was working like three jobs to maintain us. And so I never had the opportunity to play dress up as a kid because I went from being a kid to, okay, now I am responsible having and truth be told, I would cut junior high school to go have fun with my friend, and so I didn't really do that until probably about one of my girlfriends, we went to a creativity conference because I do a lot of creative problem solving as well. And we were presenting at a conference in South Africa, and I met her down there. And she said, she came back and she says, let's go to, what was it called? It wasn't out in Nevada. They do the Burning Man, right?
Oh,
But it was Love Burn. It was called Love Burn. And I'm like, that's not me. That's not my lifestyle. Like, oh, come on, Karen, let's just have fun, open up. And I went, okay, and I remember Oprah, you're yes, and I'm like, yes, okay, yes. Am I doing, And I remember going down there and straight as straight can be, and everybody's like stoned and drunk and whatnot around me. I remember seeing in one of the tents a basket of old clothes that people were donating. And she's like, you're welcome to take anything you want. And I'm sitting there going through all these things saying, oh, so I had my moment of dress up. Who was I going to be? And I had such a blast doing it.
yes. It just brings forth such a different energy.
Yes, yes, and I never would have realized it had I not had that moment of time. And now every time I go to visit her in Pittsburgh, I go up there once a year and she has these racks of clothes that she has people come and here's a shopping bag, take what you want kind of thing. And I go through that whole process of who am I going to be this year, and will it look good on me? And then of course I bring it home and I'm like, what were you thinking? Yeah.
But because this is the thing, what people don't realize, we evolve and our clothing has to do the same thing. So if you're constantly and you look the same from 12 years ago, you are actually stagnant.
Yeah,
You're stagnant and you are even in a place of confusion. So
absolutely.
a lot of times when I'm out, and it's so funny, and I have to catch myself sometimes because even at the stores, I see women come in and they're shopping and they're trying on clothes, and I'm like, that's not it. No, go put that back. let me go get you something. And they're like, what? Oh, you work here? No. And I go find the outfit that I know is going to look so good on their body type, the color, and what is resonating from them. And when they put it, oh my goodness, this is so beautiful. It's because they didn't even realize who they are or what they're trying to put forward. So when I see women that are out there and how you did that, it's exciting because you're actually tapping into another era of who you are. And don't ever stop doing it. Don't ever stop doing that.
Yeah, I haven't quite caught that groove yet, but I'm finding more and more of it. I know my color for sure. Yeah, so I'm playing in it, and since COVID, a lot of us have been behind, sitting behind the computer screen, and I can't say I'm loving sitting all day long, but so it's not like I'm out there having to, all the time. But when
Now, let
I
me just tell you something. COVID, my girl here was killing the game. I was dressed
get
like as if I was going outside.
I
I
love
am
that about
I
you.
am going to dress myself. I'm going, look, there was no time for, first of all, I don't even think I own a pair of sweats. First of all, I don't really think I do.
Yeah, no,
Um, I have some leggings and stuff for the gym, but other than that, I'm not a sweats kind of person. But that wasn't a time or space that I felt that I needed to lower my bar. I wanted to raise it.
yeah, thank you. Thank you for the reminder.
Because sometimes we have to realize that. I know for myself that if I don't get up and put myself together, I don't know who that person is. And I don't have the clarity that I normally have on what I'm doing.
Right.
So everybody always laughs. They said, do you always look like this? I said, well, except for when I go to sleep. That's the only time I give myself, like, the hair is out. I just am not put together. I kind of, I'm put together because everything matches because I'm that person too. But I'm relaxed. I'm comfortable in this skin and I know
Yeah,
who I am. And I think that is because my mother was a hippie. And my mother believed in you knowing yourself
absolutely.
and being able to know who you were. So I had time growing up where she would call it moon bathing when I was laying in the middle of my floor. And she was like, what are you doing? I said, just thinking. And she said, okay. But I was thinking about different things. And I even was thinking, like, as a little kid, I remember, like, about 10 years old, I asked myself, well, who are you? Who are you? And I thought that was such a great question. And I wrote it on a piece of paper and my mom saw it on my desk and she's like, what's this? And I said, I'm asking, who am I? Who are you? And she's like, oh, let me know what you come up with. And I just thought that was, like, so cool because she didn't tell me. She didn't tell me, she didn't say, oh, well, you are this and you are that. She didn't. She said, well, let me know what you come up with.
I love that. Yeah,
So even for my daughter, she's 12, and I always ask her, well, who are you? And so I just wait to hear what she tells me.
I love that. That's what I did with my girls. I have three daughters as well. I did the same thing, and as a result of it, I was doing 6 hours of carpooling because they were all individual, and they all had individual, different needs and different interests. So I was that mom that was forever behind the wheel, and that's when I really got the joy of audiobooks.
Aren't they the best?
The best, the best to this day, I still listen to audiobooks. But yeah, yeah. So I don't waste time. I always am learning or growing and expanding my brain because I believe that's what also keeps us young. And it's that curious nature. We were talking about curiosity before. I have a very curious nature and I want to know, so.
I'm the same. I want to know, I'm asking questions. I feel that people always say, oh, well, it's such a silly question. No, it's not. Ask your question because you may be so surprised what you receive.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. There are no wrong questions in my world. So, I love
I have
that.
to agree. To
Yeah.
agree.
So a wellness consultant practitioner, tell me more. Yeah.
So, my journey into holistic health and wellness really was about a selfish thing, but it turns out that it's a wonderful thing too. So, literally, I had a situation in my life where I went in and I had supposedly a minor procedure and I ended up being paralyzed. I was in a wheelchair 5.5 years where I wasn't able to walk. I was paralyzed from the waist down. When I first got in my chair, I was paraplegic. The resident did my spinal tap incorrectly and ended up that I was paralyzed. But needless to say, I'm so grateful that I am walking. Yes, I have difficulties. I don't have a cane. I don't have a gait. My gait is nice. I do heel toe pretty good. Sometimes I could drag that right foot a little bit. They get on me about that too. But but literally having all that medication, all being sedentary in a chair, I had gained weight. And then literally about, I say about 6 years ago, I I was so exhausted, Karen. Like I couldn't even go to my car without feeling like I was gonna die. And that's like from my front door to just my garage. Okay, that's how close it was. I
Mm.
was so exhausted. I couldn't even figure out what was happening. I had gone to doctors. They were like, you got to exercise a little more. And thinking to myself, well, I'm trying to do that. And got to lose some weight because everything becomes a factor of weight. When you're overweight, everything becomes that factor. It's your weight, it's your weight, it's your weight. But nobody's really addressing what's happening to me. So ended up, I went to this fabulous doctor. She's awesome. Matter of fact, she's a friend now. And she diagnosed me with Hashimoto's. And
Mm.
I was like, oh, and most people say Hashimoto's is thyroid, but they don't realize that's immune.
Right,
And
exactly.
I was like, okay. So she put me on medication, and I'm not a person who likes to take a ton of meds. I have already been on tons of meds. I detoxed my system from being on all those medications and finally being free of them. And I was like, there's got to be better way. And I really started looking into holistic practitioners and holistic care
Yep, exactly.
because that resonated deeper with me
Mm.
than anything else. And I feel because of being, even as a therapist, I'm in holistic care when it comes to even dealing with my patients and dealing with their psyche. So I'm not prescribing medications, I'm subscribing techniques. We're doing different things outside of that spectrum. Why can't I do the same for myself?
Right.
So in turn, it really made me start to study. And I went in and I decided I was going to take on a course. And that meant that I was getting certified in holistic health and wellness. And as I was doing that, I was working as I am my patient now. Lo and behold, I go back for all my blood work and everything. And she's like, I don't know what you're doing, but she said, your numbers are looking good, girl. She's like, I think the medicine's going good. Unbeknownst to her, I had stopped taking the medicine.
Right, right, right. I love it. I love it.
Unbeknownst, because I'm not telling her this yet, because I'm really working on myself, putting things into practice, getting into, people don't even know the healing properties of castor oil. People don't even know the healing properties of different root vegetables and different things of that sort. I changed my diet totally. I started eating for my blood type even. Moving things forward, I've healed my thyroid. I don't have Hashimoto's any longer.
Love it.
And in turn, I started working with other clients that were having different ailments. I have a client that was told that she has lymphedema, and now she can't even believe the transformation of her body through the things that we're doing, the different herbs, the different creams and massaging techniques and everything. So for me, it was like a little of that selfishness, but more so of the gratitude and the space of what I could do for others in there. And
Absolutely.
that's what motivated everything.
I love it. And this is why I just have so resonated with you over the years. And because the way we think, I love that. Oh, I've always been fascinated with human nature. And for me, if you look at any of my promos or anything like that, I always have the W in capitals in front of the word holistic, because it takes the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, the mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual to create the whole. And it seems to me, if we don't look at all of those, and there's actually more, but if we don't look at all of those to when there's an ail, then we're not looking at holistically. Um, I remember my mom was on 19 medications. She had a very low self-esteem, low self-worth. She had taken art classes when she was 72 years old. And, I'm raising my kids that were like little pipsqueaks at the time. And we lived 2.5 hours away. Why she didn't move closer to me? That's another story. I have no clue. But any rate, she would do this artwork and she would call me up, and she was a hypochondriac. And, you get, after a while, it's like calling wolf all the, yeah, 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 mom. And as I'm sitting there, breastfeeding a kid, and another one's like pulling mom. And I'm like, what, mom? And one day I didn't hear from her.
Mm,
And all of a sudden my radar went up, and I called her, and she was slurring her words. And she was taking her artwork, because she had no one to show it to the doctor. So she started out with, oh, I have a migraine headache. So here, when you go to a doctor, here's a medication, right? Rather than getting to the root cause. And then she would do some more artwork, make an appointment, because now the medication they gave her made her nauseous.
mm,
And when I found her, she was on the floor in a fetal position.
oh,
And yeah, I didn't see my mom there. I saw this young, innocent child that was reaching out to be loved and heard, and uh just wanting recognition and the affirmations that we all need. And I just said, in that moment, I said, not on my watch. And that's when I chose to become a catalyst for change in that space of looking at how to shift. I grew up in that energy of not enough, not worthy, scarcity, and all of that. And I went, no, no, this is going to change here and now. And I'm not bringing it forward to my daughters, nor am I going to continue with it. Doesn't mean it doesn't show up now and then, but when it does, I've been working that muscle so long now, I can recognize it. I can recognize it in others as well. But, you know, that's why I love what you're doing, because you're taking all of it to get to that root cause of and shifting that energy, because everything is energy. So I love it. I just am so in awe of what you're doing, what you've done, and where you're going is just amazing. Because I know we talked about your next thing you're doing is your Millionaires Mindset community. And I'm like, I want to be a part of that one. I like that.
yes. And, because it's so incredible. And first of all, I want to tell your viewers and everyone, this is not about dollars and cents, though. So the Millionaires Mindset Network is about literally your intellectual property.
Yes.
Because before you can be a millionaires, you have to have the right mindset. You have to know what you're going into. You have to prepare yourself. So, just like with anything that we're doing, if you were an athlete, you have to really train your body to be able to take on the stress of what you're going into that next realm of your career. As beautiful women, you have to prepare yourself for each step of your life and each thing that you're going into. So for me, the Millionaires Mindset Network is something that's so diverse and powerful because they're getting every everything that I offer inside of La Paz, everything that I offer inside of my sessions with different ones, I'm bringing that to that community. So you're not just going to get like, okay, today we're going to just focus on this. So literally, it's a monthly journal that comes out. You get this beautiful e-blast that comes out. You're going to learn about your skin, your biggest organ that you have. Why is it so necessary for you to take care of it? I'm a holistic esthetician. So I teach you about your skin. I teach you about the right things that you should be doing. Every woman should be taking in collagen. They should have collagen. You should also be drinking enough water to keep your skin hydrated. But the most important thing about water is this: it hydrates your brain because your brain does not. does not hold on or store water. So if you have brain fog, you're not clear, you're kind of like in this kind of space of forgetting things constantly. 9 times out of 10, it's because you're dehydrated. Your brain needs that water. But are you drinking your water like chugging it? That's not hydration. So I teach about those things that you need to be sipping your water like a rich cognac. And if you're not familiar with that, I'm going to teach you about that too. So I get to teach you everything. Then I'm in there teaching you about fashion, the psychology behind it. What are your shopping habits? What are they doing? Then we're going to have new this coming 2025, as I told you. We're launching even that we're going to be hosting some live virtual events. So there's going to be special presentations, there's going to be webinars, there's going to be things talking about menopause, perimenopausal. There's different things that you need to know. But do you also know that there are holistic things that can help you right now if you are dealing with a hot flash, if you're dealing with that fatigue, if you're feeling that restless leg syndrome, there's so many different things. Even your hair has changed because you're going through the change of life. There's things that you can do that actually causes the vitality to come back into your body. So I got tons of stuff coming, tons.
I'm excited for you and for the community and for myself selfishly as well, because I'm gonna want to be part of that one. So-
Yes. And this is the other thing. And you know what, Karen, because we are networking, and that's the other thing. I think people have to be willing to network. And that's why I named it the Millionaires Mindset Network,
Yes,
because I want women to realize that it's not about competition, it's about collaboration. I'm
absolutely.
willing to share and give over every intellectual property I have to elevate and help you to even be better and greater and move into your purpose. And if I'm willing to do that, that's a space and a place of gratitude. Gratitude looks different, and generosity even is different when you do it from a deeper heart centered place. So I'm excited over it.
Yeah, yeah. What
I'm like a
inspired?
kid right now with a new toy.
I know, right? This is where I love stepping out of my comfort zone, because I'm sure it took something to step out of your comfort zone to really just say, I'm doing this. And then it brings so much joy and excitement and opportunity, and you get to meet all these gazillion people, and you're contributing to a greater, I love that. I love that.
And I wanted it also to be something that people could afford.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you hear these great programs, you hear all this stuff and everything, and then you hear, oh yes, for only 1997, you can be a part of our community. Well, for $49, you can do it monthly or yearly. You can be a part of this beautiful network. And I'm building something that is going to enrich you in the long run. It's not all, I'm all about, like, a lot of times we look at things and people are like the whiffum disease. What's in it for me? Well, I'm going to tell you what's in it for me is to see other women shine,
Yeah.
being able to celebrate other women and seeing them step up into their greatness or into their purpose is something that is so powerful. So
Absolutely.
why would I be selfish? Why do I want to be selfish with this? I
Yeah.
want everybody to be able to join. Like I said, and I'm one of those type of people, like, okay, you got a situation, come on and talk to me. I can probably get you in there anyway.
That's me.
I get you in there anyway.
I hear you. Yeah, yeah, because we do want people to shine. I mean, we were talking earlier, and I really believe that then this is really the preface of what awakening potential is all about. It's really awakening one's consciousness to say, wow, this is possible for me. And what if I were to join this millionaires network? Like, as you said, it's not what's in it for me, but it's giver. We were talking earlier, it's that givers get. You're going to contribute back. You're going to give back to it as well and get a lot out of it. A lot out.
Yeah. And
So
this is the other thing. I don't think a lot of times when you have a platform like this, a lot of times it's all like you see the person who has developed the platform. But I also want to highlight our members. I want people to connect with them because everyone has a talent, a gift, or what they're doing. They may have published a book. Our readers need to know what you're doing. They need to support and they need to know that you have a beautiful publication out. So we can feature that. And I want them to realize that this is not just a one side where I service all of you, you get this, you get that, but in turn we get nothing. No, it's a two-way street in there. And that's what I want them to realize. And we're even thinking about moving forward. I have retreats that I want to do. I have so many things that I want to offer because I feel there's so much that I'm supposed to be doing. And I don't want to limit myself. And I've never been a person who has been afraid to challenge myself
Mhm.
because I think the best gift my mom always gave me was step out. She always used to say, step out. You got
Mhm.
it, kid. You got it. And I think that was the best gift she ever gave me in my life, was always encouraging me to run towards that cliff. She said, keep running. You got it.
Love it. And
So
I'm going to bet you're giving it to your daughter now as well.
yeah, you know
Okay.
what? She is my joy, in all honesty. And I tell people it's not like she's like, an A1, jelly bean. She's not. She has her little quirks too, and she's hilarious. But I think that's what makes me excited over being a parent is because she is her own person and it's not my person. Like she's not me. There's
Exactly.
little elements of me, of course, that I see. There's little elements of her dad that I see, but I also see the glimmers of my mom and my great grandmother and my grandmother in her. I see glimpses of his mom and his great grandmother. So she's just this beautiful melting pot that we get to kind of nurture and help
Love
her to fly.
love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. And that's what it's about, isn't it? Right. So I think you're doing an amazing job. And what a mentor and teacher and parent doing that. I remember very vividly. It was my wake up call during my divorce, and I was so in my pity party. So yeah, I was like, "Oh my God, the sky is falling, and how flat am I going to get?" And all of a sudden, I woke up one day and I said, "I'm my daughter's first teacher. I'm their first mentor. What am I teaching them?" And all of a sudden, it was like poof! I just overnight did a whole 380. And I've never looked back, never looked back. There's still a little ramification from the old, in them. But you know what? I'm very proud of who they've become and who they're becoming as a result of me getting out of their way as well. So,
I,
yeah.
I think it's wonderful, especially as parents. A lot of times because they are clay. They are clay. And we have to be willing to mold, but also realize that there has to be a little more of that malleable spirit in it too, that it can shift and shape in certain ways that it needs to. So I always tell her she is a beautiful vessel. I said, and sometimes your vessel is leaking. And I said, and mom's job is just to shore up, to seal up some of those little areas so you can continue to shape. And so I tell her sometimes it's not easy. It's not easy. And, she's at that age at 12 where they're trying to, figure out who they are, kind of flex a little bit. But I
Yeah,
always tell
exactly.
her as long as you do it with respect, honor, and dignity, I can't do anything but be proud of you. And
Exactly.
so that's the only thing I require of her, and that she's uniquely herself and authentic and holds up to what her core values are, because we
Exactly.
have laid you a beautiful guideline, but literally now it's up to you to start following it. And so that's what I require.
Love it. Love it. Love it. So you have a gift for our listening audience. Want to tell us about
Yeah.
that?
I'm so excited because I'm offering a 30-minute consultation, and it's really where you can lean into me. So if you know that you're struggling with trying to get that work life harmony, and notice I didn't say balance though.
Yes,
So I want you to realize that balance is subjective. Balance can be anything. My idea of balance will never be yours. So I teach my clients how to put work life harmony together. If you are struggling and you're trying to lose weight and you're not able to, let's get together, because 9 times out of 10 is something that you're doing with regards to your blood type, and you're not eating according to your blood type and your body type. And so we can talk about that. Or if you need to have a consultation because you're like, I don't know who this person is. What is this wardrobe telling you about me today? I'm going to tell you. Going to tell you. And so I'm excited to be able to offer that to your listeners and your viewers.
absolutely. And all of the show notes or all of your contact information will be in the show notes, as well as a link to that consultation as well. So when you come back and listen, make sure you look at the show notes, because everything to get in touch with Sonya LaRae will be in there. Sonya, before we part, what would be the pearl of wisdom that you would leave this listening audience with? What would you like to leave them with?
You know what I would love to leave them with is this: that if you look at your life and you're going through struggles, look at it as if your life is a circle. And in that circle, it's not perfect. It literally has those ridges, it has the dimples, it has all these different things in it. It's
Yeah,
the ebbs and flows in our life. But the one thing I want you to remember is that you need to give yourself grace,
absolutely.
because grace does not allow you to talk down to yourself. It does not allow you to degrade yourself. It allows you to be compassionate. And so many times, that's what we need to do. It's easy to show compassion to others, but harder for ourselves. So that's the one thing that I would love to leave with them.
I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sonya LaRae, for your contributions today. It's been such a pleasure.
Oh, it was an honor. Like I said, it's such a pleasure and an honor for me to be with you today, Karen. Plus, I just love your energy and who you are. So it's nice to reconnect and for us to keep building.
Absolutely. I'm all about it. I'm a my very first book, chapter 2, is all about collaboration, because I believe we weren't meant to do life alone. So, but thank you for recognizing that. And
Love it.
yeah, thank you. And for our listening audience, thank you so much for joining us on the Awakening Potential Show. And as you step back into your world, remember, the bridge from ordinary to extraordinary is built with small steps of change and big leaps of faith. So let today's insights from Sonya LaRae be a guiding light as you navigate your own journey. Remember, you were born to be different. So make it a difference and let your light shine. Until next time, continue to awaken your potential and illuminate the extraordinary within. So stay inspired. Bye for now.